This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. Discovering yesterday that this photo has been manipulated has opened up a whole can of worms. But before we get into that, I would like to address one thing. So on yesterday's video, a few of you had left comments pertaining to the examples that I gave to show comparison between what was photoshopped and what was not. And some of you felt that it really didn't hold much weight because it wasn't a photo that was on film, then converted to digital. And at the time when I was making the video, I just didn't have the resources, but I did promise that I would look and provide an example. So today, my buddy, Duchess of Sussex, decided to help out and scan one of her unedited photos that was on film from the year of 1997, which would place us in the same time frame of Meghan Markle's and her so-called alleged homecoming photo. So here is the beautiful Blair mucking around with her friend, wearing her tiara and having her moment. So this is what a clean, scanned photo that came from film should look like unedited. This is untouched from 1997. Now let's compare Meghan's homecoming photo with Blair's photo. Here's the side-by-side comparison. Just take a moment and look at Meghan's photo and what a mess that is. Also, a gentle reminder that Thomas Markle went along with this scam. There shouldn't be all that white mess around Meghan if this was a photo that came from film and then scanned in and was unedited. It should look just like the one on the right. Thank you, Duchess of Sussex, for helping me out today and providing this. I hope the viewers that had questioned using Benny's photo yesterday as a base now can understand and see that these photos are truly indeed manipulated. So now let's get back to Nanaki and this trip to Europe. This whole entire time, everybody's thinking that Nanaki and Meghan, the bestest friends ever, traveling to Europe, as destiny calls it, she's having her photo in front of Buckingham Palace, only to discover 6 years later that this photo was photoshopped, and others as well. Let me show you why I believe that this trip with Nanaki is fake and never happened. Everything that we have seen with Nanaki and Meghan in Europe has been manipulated. To the naked eye, we all miss just the simple things, like take, for example, in this photo. Look at Meghan's ankle. Why is her ankle bunching up like that? It's not an ankle bracelet, as she wasn't wearing one in front of Buckingham Palace. This is the same outfit that she was wearing when she took that photo. As we saw with Blair's photo, we know what a clean, unedited film photo transferred to digital should look like. This doesn't look anything like that. When we look at this photo, an obvious fugazi. I'm going to start calling these Photoshop masterpieces Magazis. I think it's about time that we give the Fugazi family a break and now call it Magazi, because everything about Meghan Markle is fake. But back to this Magazi masterpiece, Nanaki doesn't even have feet. I mean, it sort of looks like there is a leg poking out of something, but let me lighten this up for you so you can see the madness of this. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I mean, we could assume that she's wearing a skirt and she has her legs crossed and it's just a shadow, but you can't really tell, which I think is quite bizarre. Considering how the sun is hitting Nanaki and Meghan, you would think you would see Nanaki's legs. I'm just saying. It's a very good possibility that they cut and paste Nanaki and whoever that girl is that we're calling Meghan into this photo. By now, I'm sure some of you are probably saying, but there's video of Nanaki and Meghan in Europe. And yes, you are correct, and we'll get to that in a second. But first, I want to talk about Meghan's mole. Not the talented one that we all know. I'm talking about the other mole. I'm talking about this one that you can practically see from space. I want to bring it up because this mole's got a lot of personality. Whatever happened to Meghan's other mole? Should we start a YouTube channel called Meghan's Other Mole? I mean, this, I think, is the last sighting of this mole. And when we look on Meghan's face, there doesn't appear to be any type of scar or marking that shows that this has been removed. I just thought to throw that out there to everyone. Maybe she got it removed. Who knows? Don't care. But it is important for this video. Let's go back to the Europe trip.
She'd always had an interest in the royal family.
The chances of meeting the Queen are pretty slim.
Oh, the irony. That's a 15-year-old Meghan Markle on a bus tour in London in 1996.
And there is Meghan's other mole. Propagandist media outlet Entertainment Tonight is making sure that you see this mole and you know that it is this girl named Meghan. Let's begin showing you this magic show. So in the opening, you quickly see Meghan, but when you slow it down, does this look like Meghan to you? Why does this 15-year-old have such dark circles and bags under her eyes as if she just got out of the club and it's 6 a.m. in the morning? Some of you might be saying, well, maybe she's jet-lagged and just tired. Okay, I'll give the benefit of the doubt there, but let's look at the next clip.
Checking out the sights in Brussels.
It's the oddest thing I've ever seen.
And leaving her mark in Switzerland.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that says star to be. Kinda prophetic, right?
When you slow this down and you lighten it up, you start to see something pretty magical happening to Meghan's other mole. Watch it again and I'll zoom in for you. Do you see what's happening to that mole and her face? It's appearing, then disappearing, and then out of sight. Also, even wilder, pay attention to her teeth. There's no gap, then all of a sudden there's a gap. Yes, folks, this is another Magazi. Just like the graduation speech. I'm telling you, all of this is just so wild. Okay, now that you know what's going on, I'm going to slow this part down so you can see that this is not Meghan, but her face morphs into Meghan. I hope you notice that the girl that we're calling Meghan, that's not her teeth. But now watch, Meghan's other mole makes an appearance. Do you see how they digitize this? It looks like Meghan has an elf ear. When you look at everything that Meghan has done, such as putting stuff out into the media, using AI in her graduation speech, as well as creating this false narrative and facade, it can't just be Meghan alone coming up with this stuff to lock down a prince. I think we'd be really stupid to think that it was Meghan alone who plotted all of this on her vision board. The extent of the manipulation that I'm seeing looking back is astounding. And of course, back then we're watching this and it says star to be Meg, not realizing that that wasn't the space that that person had been signing.
You can already see her early ambassador skills, charming the locals while learning to speak French.
Bien sûr.
Bien sûr, bien sûr.
Now, I've said this a few times in the past, but I do think Meghan does have her eye on ambassadorship. Let's watch now how Entertainment Tonight lied to the world about who this woman is. The first thing you should notice is the height of this woman. First thing you should notice here is that that's not Meghan's face. The next thing you should notice here is that Meghan's other mole went missing. As you can see right there, that's not Meghan. Also, notice the teeth. The gap is completely gone. As for Nanaki, I think they deep-faked her face as well.
Got her first taste of the UK while traveling through Europe with her best friend's family.
Now, of course, Entertainment Tonight wants us to think that those are Nanaki's parents, but they're not. As you can see, Meghan's other mole is back, but a few seconds prior, it was a completely different person. The crazy thing about all of this is that the world fell for all of it. This entire Europe trip is all a lie. I'm willing to bet that Nanaki got paid handsomely to go along with this scam. Why should we believe the story that they fed us about this friendship since 2 years old? Remember the Michael Jackson black or white video? This is what this reminds me of. They probably used the same technology.
That's a 15-year-old Meghan Markle on a bus tour in London.
By now, you're probably getting the hang of seeing how Meghan's face morphs in this video. So, this too also was digitally manipulated to make it look like Meghan, but it's not her, and neither is that Nanaki behind her. Oh, where did Meghan's other mole go? Oh, there it is. I slowed it down so you can see how they digitized her face. That magical mole seems to have a life of its own. As you can see, it looks like it's wiggling on her face. Which now brings us to this hysterical and comical photo. Now, supposedly, they want us to believe that they are posing with their tour guide in Europe. And where they're posing, they want us to believe is in a cabaret. Now, I'll come back to this photo in a second. What's hysterical about this is that it looks like they're posing in the back of the bus. If you look at the flash and you look at the reflection there, you can see that it looks like two aisles. It's not like you can see the reflection of a cabaret. But then if you look at Nanaki and the gentleman, they look like they're sitting on bus seats. And yeah, they put a table there or photoshopped a table there to make it look like that's the table where you can put drinks or snacks or whatever. I swear, if you like stare at these photos, things just start popping out. You know, back in the 90s, there was this thing called magic eyes. And if you stared at it, these optical illusions, things would just pop out. I feel the same way about these photos, especially looking at this one. Like, what is going on here? You see Nanaki and Meghan standing off to the side. You have this cabaret going on. They're not paying attention. Nobody's paying attention to them. So then when you look a little bit closer and you look at Nanaki and Meghan, you realize that they're photoshopped in. This is so bad. Look at, look at Nanaki's hand. What is going on with that? And then holding Meghan's hand, she's got like two alien fingers sticking out here. Oh, this is so bad. I mean, how did we not catch this? I mean, seriously. And on top of it, Nanaki is way taller than Meghan, but in this photo, they shrunk Nanaki. As we're on the topic of heights, Meghan Markle allegedly is 5 feet 6 inches tall. I think she's shorter, but this is what the Google machine says. But did you know that Thomas Markle Sr.'s height is 5 feet 7 inches? And who knew that Samantha Markle was 5 feet 10 inches and Thomas Markle Jr. was 5 feet 9 inches? And the reason why I'm bringing up Thomas Markle's height is because how many photos have we seen of Meghan with her hand on her dad's chest or her head on his chest because she's so much smaller than him? Didn't we all think that Thomas Markle was a lot taller, nearing 6 foot? I mean, in this photo with Meghan, allegedly in Jamaica, getting married to Trevity Trev, you can see Thomas Markle looks like he's at least 6 foot. So the question is, did Meghan Markle lie about her height? I think so. Also, could this photo be Photoshop? Yeah, there's a high possibility, that too. At this point, I don't believe that a wedding happened in Jamaica and Meghan made everyone destroy all the photo evidence. And all that's left is what Thomas Markle has. So when we look at this, is that really Meghan? I mean, look at her top. She's flat as a pancake. I mean, I know she's flat now, but back then she had some curves. So is that really her? I ran this photo through the tool, and to me, it looks like a legit photo, which leads me to believe that that's not Meghan in the photo. What troubles me about all of this is we don't know what's real and what's not, due to not only Meghan Markle lying or whoever that woman is, as well as Thomas Markle lying. In this photo that you see here, Meghan is wearing this floral dress that is seen literally all around the world in various spaces, whether it be in the fake Europe photos with Nanaki, in this photo with her alleged dad. Then you have like this photo in front of wine bottles when she clearly is not of age to be drinking. We know that Thomas Markle Sr. is on board with all of this. That photo in the middle that's framed with the $2 bill indicates as much because that photo even looks photoshopped. Daily Impress found this photo the other day. I've never seen it, but it's again another one of those megazis. When you stare at it long enough, things just start popping out. Like, take for instance the golden Labrador Retriever. Those dogs are fairly large dogs, but sitting there, look how small it is. Then when you look at Meghan's right leg, it's almost as if it's blending into Thomas Markle's leg, of which it makes it look like it's a peg leg. I mean, that's so bad. And then on top of it, Thomas Markle Sr. sitting on the ground like that? Nah, I'm not buying that. There's so much wrong with this photo, just stare at it and it will just eventually pop out. So just to wrap things up, not everything is photoshopped by this woman, whoever she may be. Here is the christening photo, and as you can see with the royal family, this is consistent, meaning that yes, baby Archie does exist in this photo, and Catherine and William were there, as well as Charles and Doria. As you can see, the photo has not been altered. Also, this photo with Charles is good. This one hasn't been altered either. And finally, many want to know about this photo, and no, it has not been photoshopped. Now, the question is, did Meghan present a doll to the Queen? Anything's possible at this point. I wouldn't put it past her. I think the most angering thing about all this is that these two were allowed to cause so much damage. They came over to the United States in 2020 with a purpose and a mission. That mission was interfering here with our political system and getting involved with violating our civil rights. No consequences have come down on them yet, and now we see all these headlines about Harry looking for a way back into the royal fold. In my opinion, this is predictable. I don't believe for 1 second that when Harry went back for the funeral, he didn't speak to his brother. The media has lied to us over and over and over again. What makes you think that they're going to start telling the truth now? All this does now is gaslight the public because the public is no longer stupid. And I think this is where Meghan and Harry's biggest failure lies. Forget about Netflix, Spotify, all of those deals. I think were just smoke and mirrors. They really came over here to disrupt and interfere and meddle in the United States, which is what they have been doing this whole entire time, particularly around the censorship and pushing for policy to regulate our free speech. But because of their arrogance and stupidity, so many of us have woken up to see what these globalists and elitists are really all about. This little greedy clout-chasing goblin gave up the game because she was so bad at it. Hopefully by now, people are starting to realize that we all got played. Does anybody really believe that Harry is trying to get back because he misses home so much? No, he's trying to get back because he's afraid of what might happen in November, because there's a very good chance that what might happen in November will be bad for these two. Now, I know that there are people watching and listening to this channel, so listen up. Keep provoking and trying to trample on our rights. You can bet that there are enough of us that would be ready to move forward with a class action. And as Harry is on this A1 visa representing as head of state for the UK, I don't think Papa Chuck would be too happy of the attention that it would bring. You follow me, right? Like, I can't imagine that the royal family didn't know that this woman was 1000% a fraud. Like, I find that very hard to believe. I think there's so much more to this than we really understand. But what I do know is that Meghan, or whoever this woman is very dangerous. Not dangerous in the sense of strong female empowerment, dangerous that more power that's given to her, the worse it will be for humanity, in my opinion. I mean, the last week has been just so mental in realizing that we've been all markled. This saga with this couple has been so insane that I almost feel like we are being put in some type of experiment. And at some point, Netflix is going to pop up and be like, yeah, we've been doing all this kind of stuff because we're putting together a new show. And no, it's not real. You know what I mean? It's just so insane and bizarre that it could only be by design. Everything that they have done has been intentional and with purpose. But what do you guys think? I'd love to know your thoughts on this video, so definitely leave those comments below. And as always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!
I was such a fraud.